All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, the Tennessee Titans were once again expected to win the AFC South, but a 7 game losing streak to end the season, which included dropping a game to the Jacksonville Jaguars this past Saturday in a winner take all scenario for the division crown, meant that they would be watching the playoffs from home for the first time since 2018. The Titans were done in by injuries this season, most notably to quarterback Ryan Tannehill, who was in and out of the lineup with an ankle injury. You go back to last year's draft where star wide receiver A.J. Brown was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles as he was seeking a bump in pay. The Titans passing game never recovered from that. And honestly, Tennessee, even with A.J. Brown, struggled to throw the ball at times. But this past season, they were 30th in the league in passing. When you put all of that together, it signaled another wasted season by the Titans in regards to their star running back. Now, Derrick Henry's been in the NFL for 7 years, but the past 5 years have seen him leave his imprint literally on opposing defenders. You think about it, Derrick Henry 6'3", 250, and he is a freight train with blazing speed. He's led the NFL in rushing twice, which included getting more than 2,000 yards on the ground back in 2020. But however, as good as he is, he's been done in by the Titans' lack of a passing game as they've been unable to consistently complement him. You think about the last two playoff losses for the Titans. And I highlight those because typically, whatever you cannot do well always shows up at the most inopportune time. And typically in the playoffs, the teams that have been able to defeat the Titans, they stack the box against Derrick Henry and they dare Ryan Tannehill to beat them with his arm, which he cannot do. Just look at last year's AFC divisional round against Cincinnati, where Ryan Tannehill threw three costly interceptions in that game. But in the Titans' last two losses in the playoffs, back in 2020, the home loss to Baltimore, and then last year, the home loss to Cincinnati, Derrick Henry got a combined 102 yards on the ground because teams are just stacking the box and saying, you know what, Ryan Tannehill, you've got to beat us. Now, in my opinion, and I'm sure there are going to be plenty of people out here that agree with me on this, the Titans are simply wasting the prime years of Derrick Henry's career. And this is important because Derrick Henry just turned 29 years of age. And at some point, especially the way that he plays football, and if you go back and study this game as far as the history goes with the impact physical runners, at some point that other shoe has to drop. You look at it, 3 of the last 4 years, Henry has gone over 300 yards per carry. And the only reason he did not get more than 300 yards, 300 carries in 2021 is the fact that he only appeared in 8 games. But in those 8 games, he had 219 carries, 215 carries in 2018, 303 carries in 2019, 378 carries in 2020. In this past season, 349 carries. And in 3 of the last 4 years, he has also led the NFL in carries. And you think about it with the backfield tandems or the backfield trios, which are prevalent in today's NFL, for Henry to get those type of carries, that goes back to another time in the game, the Emmett Smith time, the John Riggins time, where you know what, it was consistently feed your back and you know what, lean on him throughout the game. That is all well and good. And Derrick Henry, again, once he gets ahead of steam, get out of his way. But the Titans have to find a way to improve their passing game. And for me, I just look at the Titans offense and I just look at the Titans team. And for me, this is a franchise in limbo right now because remember, General Manager John Robinson was fired last month after the Titans got blown out by the Philadelphia Eagles. And in that game, A.J. Brown took over. And remember, this was the guy that John Robinson did not want to pay. And of course, they got wide receiver Traylon Burks, the rookie, who has potential, but he's not where A.J. Brown is at this point of his career. this week, we saw the Titans fire three offensive coaches, including offensive coordinator Todd Downing. But there's a lot of questions for this team heading into the offseason. One more year on Ryan Tannehill's contract. Then you look at Malik Willis, the guy who the Titans drafted this year. And, the kid has potential. I will not take that away from him. But clearly, right now, at least, he is not ready to be an NFL quarterback, a starting NFL quarterback. You think about it, even in Malik Willis's first start this year, a 17-10 win over the Houston Texans. He was just 6 of 10 passing for 55 yards. And in that game, Tennessee just racked up the yardage on the ground. And you think about it, you look at his numbers this year, he's completing just under 51% of his passes, no touchdowns, three picks. He was sacked 10 times, including being sacked four times in the Christmas Eve home loss to the Houston Texans, which basically, in my opinion, signal the beginning of the end of this season for the Tennessee Titans. So there's plenty of work that has to be done between now and next year to see if Malik Willis is truly going to be your future at quarterback if you are the Tennessee Titans. One more year on the contract of Derrick Henry. And again, as good as Derrick Henry has been, and I think he has the potential to be a future Hall of Famer as he's closing in on 10,000 yards on the ground. You think about it again, the physicality. At some point, the dam is going to break. Derrick Henry is not going to be as physical. He's not going to have that burst anymore. And the Tennessee Titans are going to have to make a decision sooner rather than later on him as well. Mike Vrabel, the head coach, what does the future hold? He's coming off of his first losing season in Nashville. The GM that hired you is no longer there. And I know that Mike Vrabel has had success in getting this team to the postseason. He got them there in 2019. He got them there. Well, that was the year they got to the AFC Championship game. Got them there in 2020 and 2021 as AFC South champs. And you go back to his first year in 2018, the Titans were 9-7, but they just fell short of making the playoffs. So this is going to be a very important offense or off season. Excuse me. Why do I say that? Because the Jacksonville Jaguars, you can no longer say that they're coming. They have arrived. They surpassed the Titans for the division crown. And I'm not going to sit up here and compare Trevor Lawrence to Peyton Manning, but I will say this: the Jaguars, with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, have the potential to lean on and dominate this division, kind of like Peyton Manning did for years when he was with the Indianapolis Colts. And then, of course, when he went on to the Denver Broncos, and the Broncos consistently won the AFC West. That is what the good teams do. That is what the good quarterbacks do. They win and dominate their divisions, get to the playoffs, and the rest is history. Tom Brady did it for so many years with the New England Patriots. Peyton Manning, the aforementioned, did it as well. And we could just go right down the list. And even Patrick Mahomes is currently doing it with the Kansas City Chiefs. So this is what the Tennessee Titans have to look forward to, having to find a way to overcome and get past Trevor Lawrence. And then, of course, you got the Texans and Colts who are trying to figure out their way after bad seasons. But nonetheless, if you're the Titans, you have your work cut out for you going forward to catch the Jags. So you look at it, the Titans still have a stellar D, but they have so many question marks on the offensive side of the ball that, you know what, they have to get to work this offseason and figuring it out. But nonetheless, another wasted season for the great Derrick Henry. And if the Titans don't figure it out soon, it's just going to be one of those scenarios with Derrick Henry where, you know what, he put up the numbers, he left his impact on the game, but he was just done in by the team around him. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.